Hi, Alan. So Cal, I'm going to be reviewing the Anfier translator. And you may have asked yourself, why would somebody want a small handheld translator when you've got online translation, and if you've got your phone with you, you're good to go? Well, I'll explain that to you very directly. There's a huge difference between the Anfier dedicated translator and using an online translation service. So let me go over just a few points that will explain why a dedicated unit like this is so useful. Number one, and you can see from the vendor page, because I printed right off the page, 97% accuracy, regardless of the percentage I can tell you, using native speakers that are in our family and our close friends. This is a very accurate translator. Second item, 127 plus languages. There are many languages in this translator. There's one language I wish they had been able to verbalize. It translates to text in that language, but not to spoken and something that's audible that you can hear. But believe me, many languages, most all of the major world languages. And then the third item, and you can see it, 0.5 seconds. Well, they're talking about rapid translation, and believe me, when I have used this in various languages, the translation time is enormously quick. It's really simple to use. Basically, you take the unit, and you can see on the face of it a rocker switch. The upper rocker I load with American English, US English, the lower portion, whichever language I'd want to translate to. When I'm holding it facing me, I push the top of the rocker switch and I'll basically say something in English, and then I'll have it translated, or I'll push the lower part down here of the rocker and let the individual who's speaking the other language say his or her piece, and then I'll wait for the translation and then respond. Works both ways. Well, let me show you how it works. Let's start by simply booting up the unit. There's a switch on the side here. You push in and hold, and it's going to go through its boot up mode. And it's very interesting. It usually, at least when I do it, it starts by running through a whole series of flags and languages. There you go. So that's part of the boot up exercise, and I believe what it's doing now, it's looking for, in this case, my office Wi-Fi system. We're starting here with the default page showing time and allowing me to travel by swiping the screen. Let me do that again. Swiping to the right, I go to the home page, and bringing it back, I have choices here. Typically, I go straight to voice translation, and I pick, in this case, I've got English, American English on the top, Spanish on the bottom. So let's just play around with it a little bit, and let me show you how it might be used. Let's presume I'm the one on the other side of the border. So let's say I'm on the other side of the border, and I'm showing this to you, and you speak English, and I start out with Buenos días, señor. Mucho gusto en conocerle. Yo tengo una cosa muy interesante. Es de electrónica y es técnico. Es una cosa para traducir idiomas.
Good morning, sir. Nice to meet you. I have a very interesting thing. It's electronics and it's technical. It's something to translate languages.
So you can see that was pretty quick. And then if I were speaking English, I'd say, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. Where did you get that?
Dios mío, eso es realmente interesante. ¿De dónde sacaste eso?
So let's say I'm traveling in Brazil and I want to speak to somebody, and maybe my Portuguese is weak, which it probably is. But the person I'd hold this up to, I would just say, fala em português. So I would hold it up to them, and they would say something like, foi prazer para conhecer você, senhor. Se você tem tempo e você quer, nós podemos viajar para a cidade do Brasília.
It was a pleasure to meet you, sir. If you have time and you want us, we can travel to the city of Brazil.
Actually, it's Brasilia, but they said Brazil. So I'll deduct that 0.5% or whatever it was. You know, that would be great. I would like to go to the city of Brasilia.
Sabe, isso seria ótimo. Eu gostaria de ir para a cidade de Brasília.
Ah, see? So now we have a young lady and she fully understood. The only thing I haven't figured out is when does it go to a man's voice or to a woman's voice? I'm going to have to check with the vendor on that. I don't know. But one of the things that this item does not come with, and I was surprised, was a case. So what I did, and this happens to be a satchel, it's a velvet satchel, but it just so happens that this slides right in like that, and I just fold it over and put it in my pocket, but it protects the screen and such. But that's about the only thing it was lacking.